Bioshock is one of the many games where the further you get in the game, the harder everything gets. I'm talking enemies, hacking, everything. Thus, you are required to get upgrades. But what if you eliminated that possibility? Can you beat Bioshock without any upgrades? I awoke on a plane, which immediately crashed, which I'm sure every single passenger survived with no fatal injuries. Then I headed towards a lighthouse. At the bottom of that lighthouse, I found a spherical submarine, which I rowed down into Rapture. I feel like now would be the best time to explain some do's and don'ts. I can buy plasmids and tonics from the Gatherer's Gardens, as long as they're in their default stage. I can pick up plasmids and tonics on the ground, once again, if they are in their default stage. I can pick up weapons if they're in their default stage. But I cannot buy or pick up any upgraded plasmids or tonics. If I do, I must put them in my gene bank. And if I do manage to upgrade a plasmid or weapon, then I'm forbidden to use that plasmid or weapon. But if I manage to upgrade my health or Eve, then it's challenge over. On the inside of Rapture, I witnessed a murder, in which I tried to call the police, but instead of the police picking up, some Irish dude picked up instead. He says his name's Atlas, and I need to save his family, like I know who that is. But eventually, the murderer was brought down to justice thanks to Atlas. And now I've picked up arguably the most useful weapon of this challenge, the wrench. And the reason I say that is because the wrench cannot and will not be upgraded. It was here when I got into my first fight. That was easy because I am on easy. I played with an animation glitch for way too long. It was fun but very time consuming. After catching a glimpse of Mr. Bubbles, I used my newfound electrical powers to open a door magically. After the plane crashed through the glass corridor, I thought about doing a plasmid only challenge because, you know, a sequel based on the Vigor only challenge in Bioshock Infinite, but this part were to prove me wrong. Out of this elevator came my greatest fear in Bioshock Infinite. You'll understand why if you watch that video. I'd obtained my first of many guns, in the shape of a pistol. I'd found a little girl, then witnessed the power of Mr. Bubbles. Now, this looks like an excruciatingly painful death, but trust me, this is nothing compared to what you're about to see. I put a toaster in the tub, to be metaphorical, and then put more toasters in the tub, to be even more metaphorical. Then I used a speedrunning glitch, so I could not come face to screen with Andrew Ryan. In Medical Pavilion, I hacked a security turret, then immediately disabled it, because reasons. Oh yeah, and one more thing that I didn't cover in the ground rules part, was I cannot buy any plasmid or tonic slots. And while we're on the topic of plasmids and tonics, I've left an evidence clip in the description, which is basically a montage of me using all the Gatherer's Garden machines, to prove that I did not buy any upgrades. But back to the game. Inside Medical Pavilion, I found a ghost, which was trying to knock on a door. But of course, it doesn't know how to knock on a door, so I had to help it with that. Afterwards, I'd found a crematorium. Now, what would you bet that ghost I saw came from the corpse I just found? But that doesn't matter. What does matter is I have an unupgraded tonic. Therefore, I can use it. And also, I found armor-piercing rounds. Now, I can use armor-piercing rounds. You may count them as an upgrade, but I just see them as an easier solution to an already difficult problem. But I can use them as long as the weapon itself is not upgraded. And then I got my hands on Incinerate, yet another plasmid. But you see, the thing is, this is essentially the Bioshock 1 version of Devil's Kiss. It sets people on fire, pretty badly as well, as you can probably see from the footage. I obtained a shotgun which I used to blast people's heads off. And now I have come across the biggest dilemma of the challenge. Telekinesis. What should I swap out, and what should I keep? Eventually I swap it out with Electrobolt. I don't really hack that much. A demented doctor delivered drones to my location, but I easily killed them. And the turret too. I activated an alarm. This would normally be nothing, but the thing is, I've got to fight Dr. Steinman soon, and I don't want robots just coming and blasting me with bullets. But I didn't care at the time, because I just love murdering maniacs or being made me's cheese by weasels. While being mauled by turrets, I took a look at Dr. Steinman's artwork. It's abstract, to say the least, but I didn't like it, so I killed him because of it. The Dr. Steinman boss fight was just like the Lady Comstock boss fight in Bioshock Infinite, in the respect that they were both ridiculously easy. But then again, I was on easy difficulty for both of them. I found a dead Big Daddy, and hey look, it's that little girl we found earlier. Wonder what she's doing here. Man got shot, girl got rescued, man bought armored shell. Now for the record, I will not document every time I go to a Gatherer's Gardens. If you want that evidence, there's a link in the description, as I just stated a few minutes ago. Those of you who have played Bioshock, you know what time it is. Big Daddy time! As you could tell from how excited I was in that last clip, what I didn't realise was how easy it was going to be. Only literally 4 shotgun shells, and I prepared so much for it. Anyway, I rescued the little sister and all was well. After taking on the monumental task of killing a Big Daddy, I put the security key in the thing and then went to Port Neptune. The fight with the rosy Big Daddy and Neptune's bounty was definitely harder, but still no challenge. I'd rescued my 3rd little sister in a row, then got a radio message from Tenenbaum saying thank you for rescuing the 3rd little sister, and then got a present. I talked to Peach Wilkins, and then fought a spider splicer for the very first time. It wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either, especially with the help of Peach's security bots, which I later disabled. Now, I purposefully left the grenade launcher on the conveyor belt because I'll need that a little bit later on. I killed a nitro splicer in 1 hit, and killed a leadhead in 2. I'd fought a rosy Big Daddy, while simultaneously fighting a leadhead splicer, while also fighting a rocket turret all at the same time. And then I rescued the little sister. I'd found the research camera in order to take 3 separate pictures of spider splicers, and I decided to allow myself to use the research camera whenever I pleased, because I wouldn't classify it as upgrading, I would just classify it as weakening the enemy. I took a picture of 1, 2, and 3 spider splicers for the sake of research. I'd also managed to get a tonic by taking a picture of a leadhead splicer. A tonic was just lying there, so I had to grab it. Remember how I said I had to leave the grenade launcher there? Well, this is why I had to leave it there, so that I could use it against Peach Wilkins in his boss fight. I took a photo of Peach Wilkins, then murdered him in cold blood. Not really, he was throwing Molotovs at me. I almost upgraded a weapon, then realised that the challenge was to do the exact opposite, so I barraged it with Incinerate. I saw my family for a brief period of time, then went one-on-one with a turret. I talked to Andrew Ryan, then talked to Atlas, then watched his family blow up in a submarine. I'd found a tonic in Arcadia, which makes it take longer for cameras and turrets to spot me. I picked a pretty flower for Mrs. Greenie. Then she felt the wrath of Ayn Rand. Andrew Ryan. I'd managed to pick up a chemical thrower, aka an electro-napalm ice gun. After rummaging through Greenie's safe, I soon felt the wrath of bees while rummaging through their nests. And while we're on the topic of bees, I bought Insect Swarm, and replaced it with Incinerate. I collected honey, water, and chlorophyll solution, then put it in the U-Invent. It was also here where I found my first upgraded tonic, which obviously I didn't use because that's what the challenge is all about. I too felt the wrath of Andrew Ryan, and then Arcadia felt the wrath of the Lazarus Vector. But before this, I picked up 2 tonics, Natural Camouflage and Sports Boost. After using the manual repair kit for the air in Arcadia, I'd managed to make it to Fort Frolic, which is easily my favourite level in all of Bioshock. The bathysphere got sick of me because who wouldn't? Sander Cohen decided to talk to me on my radio. Shotty the shotgun got real intimate with 2 spider splicers, and another spider splicer did a fire dance from the ceiling. I took pictures of even more spider splicers, and then proceeded to turn them into my Christmas dinner with napalm. And those are just a few things that happened at the start of Fort Frolic. I listened to some piano piece, which I'm sure is by Beethoven. This Beethoven rip-off brought a new meaning to Killer Performance. I took a photo of Mr. Burns. I did some sick parkour moves on my imaginary skateboard. Then I put the photograph in Cohen's masterpiece. Afterwards, Cohen gave me a crossbow. It has an impressive range and deals tons of damage. But the thing is, steel tip bolts are surprisingly hard to find. The Iceman froze me in his tunnel, which was a bit rude, but he got his comeuppance in the form of a photograph of his dead body. But before I took a photo of him, I accidentally got an upgraded version of Sports Boost, which I put in the gene bank. Now, the good thing about the gene bank is that you don't have to equip any plasmas or tonics you put in there. You can just put a plasma or tonic in there and leave it there forever. And speaking of obtaining upgraded tonics through photographs, this guy was generous enough to give me Extra Nutrition 3. Not sure why he gave it to me, but once again, just like Sports Boost 2, I kept it in the gene bank and left it there. I decided to pick a fight with the elite variant of the Bouncer Big Daddy. Now, I anticipated this to be the hardest part of the challenge, but it wasn't. In fact, I dare say that it was as easy as the bouncer in Medical Pavilion. But I guess that was because I had a grenade launcher and I didn't give it a chance. Our little sister was rescued once again. And then I finally managed to put the photo of the Iceman in Cohen's masterpiece. I got 10 anti-personnel rounds, $21, and 3 medical kits just for putting a photo in a slot. I killed the 1960s ripoff of Spider-Man. I saw a ghost that was doing unspeakable things to a pole. Then that same ghost beckoned me to a room. But plot twist, it wasn't me she was beckoning, it was Andrew Ryan. I saw that same photograph and for some reason it zoomed into my mother. Then I realised that Andrew Ryan did unspeakable things to the ghost. After that shocking discovery, I found Hector Rodriguez, then killed Hector Rodriguez, and then took a photo of Hector Rodriguez. Then I put the photo of Hector in Cohen's masterpiece. Then he sent some friends my way, but the thing is, they weren't friends. They were spider splicers that could be killed in like one hit. I defeated Cohen's final splicer, then searched for Silas Cobb, but not before getting some electric buck shells, money, and liquid nitrogen. Then I used the liquid nitrogen to freeze, then hack the turrets outside of Eve's garden. I picked a fight with yet another elite bouncer Big Daddy. He got one good hit on me, but with the armor-piercing rounds, I just cleaned him up. And then I fought the third and final bouncer Big Daddy of Fort Frolic. Once again, this wasn't any more difficult than the other 2 fights, but he got one good hit, and then that was that. And then rescued the third and final little sister of Fort Frolic. I found Silas Cobb, then missed a direct hit on Silas Cobb, then murdered and took a picture of Silas McMolotov. And then I finally finished Cohen's masterpiece by putting that photograph in that frame. Senator Cohen appeared out of the blue to admire his artwork, then tried to give me an upgraded tonic. But instead, I gave him a gift. The gift of a steel-tipped bolt in the face. After which I got the real treasure. Now I must mention, the fight with Senator Cohen was far harder than I expected. I mean, it technically brings him down to half health once you shoot him initially, aka when he's passive. But once he's hostile, oh my god, he just teleports everywhere, shoots you with fire, and is just so hard to take down because of how resilient he is. It's a refreshing change. But that refreshment will soon turn into tears. And here is a prime example of that. As you can see, this leadhead splicer is ridiculously hard. At first I shoot him with a Tommy gun, then whack her with a wrench, and then start sending bees her way. And it's still not enough to bring her down. I found yet another jumping glitch in Bioshock, and then found Frozen Field 2, but instead of putting it in my gene bank, I just didn't pick it up at all. After trying, then failing to open Ryan's door, some splicers attacked me, but thankfully, natural camouflage protected me at this point. Now, because I'm lazy and couldn't be bothered to document every time I fight a Big Daddy, let's just say I fought every Big Daddy and rescued every little sister. Just like now. These splicers spooked me, so I did what any respectable man would do and blew them up. Then I found an audio diary which tells me where to find Kaiber's workshop, and found an upgraded tonic which I didn't pick up, as you can see. I found Kaiber's workshop, and inside it was an audio diary, a non-upgraded tonic, and an EMP bomb. But the thing is, that's only the bomb casing. To finish off the bomb, I need 4 R34 wires, a half can of ionic gel, which is basically 2/4, and nitroglycerin. I got the 4 R34 wires from existing Big Daddy corpses, as well as Big Daddies I've already killed. I found yet another PTP station, which I obviously didn't use because I was too distracted by the upgraded plasmid in the gift, which was stored in my gene bank. And to prove that it was banked, look at my plasmids. Only telekinesis and insect swarm. I entered a code which literally every Australian knows the answer to. Then I dodged every single electric wire to get to the nitroglycerin. And then I picked up the nitroglycerin, in which a turret fired at me. So I dodged literally every single wire to avoid the turret. After finding a corpse in a locker, I picked up 2 cans of ionic gel. And then I put the R34 wires, nitroglycerin and ionic gel on the EMP bomb, spent like a minute pouring a valve to pour hot magma ocean water, saw an upgraded tonic which I did not pick up, and then put the EMP bomb on the city core. And I did all of that just to successfully open Ryan's door. Andrew Ryan called me a mistake, so I killed him with a golf club. Anyway, Atlas has turned into Frank Fontaine, so I followed a little girl, then was knocked unconscious. Tenenbaum walked around and talked about something. I stood and walked around this door for way too long, forgetting that I had to talk to the little sister downstairs. I made this little girl open a door so I could inevitably open a door, so Frank Fontaine could inevitably give me heart disease. Now I'm on a hunt to find a cure for this wretched curse. I let a nitro splicer play with bees. I killed a turret with an electro buck. This is funny because electricity is meant to help you hack turrets. At this point I'm debating whether I should even use the camera at all, because of how many upgraded tonics I keep getting and am forced to put in my gene bank. I fought a Big Daddy with nothing but napalm, swapped out telekinesis with target dummy. This splicer tried to play dead, but you can't trick me, game, not after what happened in Hephaestus. And then I made some DIY auto hack tools and exploding buckshots. And I kid you not, this would probably be only the second time I have ever used a U-Invent station. After the game indirectly telling me I'm hoarding too much, I got mad and found a paparazzi audio tape about Frank Fontaine and Tenenbaum. Afterwards I come across yet another Power to the People station, and let my bees have at it. I burned some meat in the kitchen, and by meat I mean splicer, and by burned I mean shot. I found out that electric gel is just electrobolt in disposable form. Then listened to an audio tape saying where I can find the cure, and Clever Inventor tonic, which I put into my gene bank, cause, once again, I do not invent things. Watched an enemy rocket turret blow up a splicer, then shot the rocket turret for being treasonous to splicers. I stayed in the pause menu for like 20 minutes cause I had to do some jobs around the house. After looking around Tenenbaum's house, I entered the code 5744 to gain access into Fontaine's penthouse. I had an all-out war with the splicers at Fontaine's penthouse, found out I had the ability to wrap bandages around myself while under the influence of alcohol, shot an upgraded tonic on Fontaine's desk, and then I drank the first dosage of the Lot 192 solution. But with actions comes consequences. And not only do I have to deal with randomized plasmid changes, but also some of those plasmids have decided to upgrade themselves. So I will be leaving an evidence clip down in the description below along with the other evidence clips, showing everything that happened from now until roughly the end of Apollo Square. So basically the rule is, until I get the second dosage of Lot 192, is that I can only use weapons. I entered Apollo Square, then tried to fight a Big Daddy without accidentally using an upgraded version of Incinerate on him. While I was in the middle of rescuing this little sister, my plasmids changed from Incinerate 3 to Hypnotize Big Daddy 2, yet another upgraded plasmid I cannot use. Missed a direct hit on a nitro splicer, and then I was finally liberated of the constraint of not being able to use plasmids. And the weird thing is, look at my insect swarm. It's not upgraded, but previously it was upgraded to the 3rd version. So why on earth did that happen? Anyways, I knocked off about a quarter of a Big Daddy's health before deciding to chicken out and headed straight for Point Prometheus. Fontaine ran through a door without holding it open for me, and he escaped without me punishing him for this heinous crime. So I got all handsy with a dead Big Daddy in front of a Power to the People station, so that it knows that I will never need it. I found yet another upgraded tonic, which I did not pick up, but I did pick up the boots, which were right next to it. I bought 9 medkits in the span of 2 seconds. I found a little sister teddy bear gift, but because Armored Shell 2 was in there, I didn't even bother to pick it up. Then I picked up 2, hold on again, 3 pheromone samples so I could smell exactly like a Big Daddy. Next was the voice box implant so I could sound exactly like a whale. Afterwards I got the Big Daddy Rosie bodysuit, which gives me a 25% increase to damage resistance. Now I will not count this as an upgrade because number 1, it is necessary to the story, and number 2, it does not fall under the 5 categories: health, Eve, weapons, plasmids, or tonics. And then I got the Big Daddy Rosie helmet. Now if you haven't figured this out already, I'm becoming a Big Daddy, and technically already have become a Big Daddy, which is a little bit ironic because the day I am recording this is Father's Day. Now I will not say much about the Proving Grounds because number 1, it is an awful mission, and number 2, I don't want you guys to experience the same torture I did while looking through this cylindrical screen. So all I will say is that the little sister survived all 3 encounters, and then I fought the Big Daddy and won. Okay, so going into the Fontaine boss fight, I have almost maxed out all of my ammo on every weapon, as well as having no upgrades on any of my weapons, nor any of my plasmids or tonics. And now it was the final battle, me versus Frank Fontaine. This was disgustingly easy. I could beat him in probably less than 10, no wait, even 5 minutes. That's how easy it was. And that's with no upgrades on anything. But that's the boring part. I'm sure you don't want to listen to me talk about the boss fight. Instead, I bet you want to see what happens at the end.
I had you built. I sent you topside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I don't know what is. And now,
And that concludes our challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed, and that proves that in fact you can beat Bioshock without getting any upgrades. What have I learned from this challenge? Well, it doesn't take much else than how you would normally play to beat Bioshock without upgrades. Well, at least on the easy difficulty. I'd imagine it to be much, much, much harder on difficulties such as Hard and Survivor. But I'm not too worried about those difficulties, because I have officially beaten Bioshock without getting any upgrades on the easiest difficulty. But I don't really care what difficulty it is. All that matters is I've done it.